And in the bottom left-hand side, in the yellow, as Carson once wonderfully said, raise your Roman numerals for iNSUPERABLE. And there we go, upper right in the Dust Gaming red. It is Duck. There we go, Ricky. You ready?
I'm very ready. These guys have played on this map in particular before. It was Dust League America, and it was when Duck got the better of him in the series, and it was Lich Mir as well. iNSUP did a crazy Lich Alchemist build, and Duck did not. And Duck was able to win on this map, so we'll see if iNSUP switches this up. But we've been seeing lately that iNSUP has kind of just adapted the Lich first in not only a lot of matches, but definitely in Undead Mirror, Neo. So, I mean, this could be a constant throughout the series.
That would be quite something, man. It's action-packed. It's kind of a little bit old school, you know? Back in the day, we always played Lich Ghoul Garg Mirror, which is horrible for a caster, especially in the Garg fights. But hey, he was playing the WarCraft Champions tournament, was iNSUP, and he was facing X-Lord there. And especially on this map, he had X-Lord close to a defeat, but it was then just the resiliency of X-Lord who turned it all around in the end. But hey, if you can threaten X-Lord, you should be able to take a map or two off of Duck as well.
Oh, and iNSUP's not even going to creep a little bit. He's just going to go straight across the map, Neo. He's already got the Skelly Rod. He's going to come up. He's going to steal the critter. He's going to get some Skellies. And he's going to be annoying. And Duck is going for what seems like a normal creep route. He didn't actually kill the pig, so it's a little bit farther. He's going to have to get to that piggy. And iNSUP might actually be the one stealing the Skellies there, so Duck's just got to go back home. This is already a rough start to this game.
Oh my god, Duck and the critters, man. Sometimes they walk into the mercenary camp. Here it was super far away, getting stolen now. This, like, nothing really happened. I think not a single point of damage was exchanged, but this is already really, really bad for Duck.
Yeah, so a really good scouting, though, from iNSUP, keeping that Skelly at the top. Going to see that the Lich is there, and now he sees the ghouls, and what Duck was trying to do for a wraparound and actually try to take a fight maybe behind this tech, now looks like he's got to go back home with his tail behind his legs, his duck tail, that is, as he goes back down and hides behind the Nerubian. And Duck's kind of wedged. Look at this. Like a Lich on one side, ghouls on the other. This could be a little iNSUP sandwich there, a little French-Canadian. Add a little cheddar cheese on that for that puts-in sandwich. But this is already looking a little sketch, Neo.
Here we go, the ghouls are meeting. Finally, a little bit of a brawl. iNSUP, of course, a lot closer to this fight. Might be able to throw the first Nova. Comes in with the block, and we all know iNSUP best, at least best undead micro in NA. And he's trying to get some ghouls, trying to get some experience, but Duck is finally here as well.
Duck hasn't lost any units yet, and one ghoul about to fall for iNSUP, but Duck's trade is going to take a lot of damage on his Lich. He's trying to run back to his main, but might have to force the TP. I don't know if you want to give that much experience, but iNSUP's still here. He doesn't have a Nova, but he's getting in range of that Lich. Nice TP from Duck, though, right in the back. Gets a Ritual Dagger, and he's going to be safe for now behind that Nerubian, but that could have been a very scary TP if Duck didn't purposely put himself behind that shop.
Damn, gotta love these undead mirrors today. The first one delivered, and the second one delivers as well. iNSUP teching behind all of this? Are you trying to say something?
Off to an action-packed start, I would say. Yeah, it's pretty ballin'. But Dux is going to be able to heal up his Lich a little bit more and maybe have time to creep because iNSUP just backed off. Now he's going for the Priest. Duck has a Nova, though. Not going to be able to get it. So far, iNSUP stealing a lot, but the Nova on the ghouls. Maybe Duck can actually spiral this. In Undead Mirror, Neo, it's so like back and forth. Like you think you're ahead, and then the other opponent could just go into your main and do all this damage back to you. So
yeah, or I play against you and I'm just behind the entire game and then shave my hair.
Well, that's because I'm full of talent and not just broadcasting, but, you know, playing skill as well. You know, it happens to the best of us. You're not the only one that's lost to my sheer will, Neo.
I don't want to go into that any further, to be honest. There's another Nova on both sides. Duck still pretty hurt. And if we get one of these infamous iNSUP surrounds, then this might be the end for the Lich already as he used this town portal. This will be a big factor coming into the mid and late game.
Yeah, not a lot of units here for iNSUP. If he goes for surrounds, he'd be forcing them, and they would not be ideal. In fact, he Novas the Illusioned Lich, getting a little anxious there, and Duck's going to like that for sure. Duck's got another Nova, and that's good one, Neo. Another unit goes down. The trades have been decent for Duck, and maybe a surround on Duck's side. He does get the Lich surrounded. Maybe a trade of TPs. Duck's starting to even up this game, Neo.
Yeah, looking really good, man. I'm pretty impressed with Duck's performance so far. He's not getting real threatened by all the pressure that iNSUP is bringing to him. He just analyzes the situation, acts accordingly, and finds a way out. And now definitely a way, I don't want, like, back in the game. Can you say back in the game? I'm not 100% sure. We take a look at the experience graph, and Duck is taking the lead there. DK out, Fiends coming. Slaughterhouse just a matter of time. He's a little short on lumber though, so mismanaging the resources a little bit.
Yeah, he brought those extra ghouls to do a little bit of damage. He did get that damage, but unfortunately he's got to suffer a little bit economically. And there used to be a saying, Neo, in 2011, 2012, back in the day, Duck used to be the best player on the server. There was nobody else really playing, and he was beating players like Moon and Ted consistently. And we used to have a little saying that called AO Duck Micro. And his micro was unbelievable. So, you know, iNSUP right now definitely takes like the best micro as an undead player, but Duck's starting to get into that old form that, you know, was about 10 years ago, Neo.
Looking hot, looking hot. We got a level 2 Lich now. Curious if we see Frost Armor, but no, it's Dark Ritual all the way. iNSUP healing up. And is this Madman expanding?
Yeah. That's, well, that's a 10 right there. If you could actually get this going, that would be insane. The DK is creeping, but iNSUP's going for much bigger camps. So maybe he's going to have that DK leveled up a bit quicker.
Not too sure if I like this expansion idea too much. Does he think he's so far ahead? We'll see. iNSUP, yeah, taking the big camps. Consumables in this matchup can be game winning. I mean, if you have a fight on even footing and one player has the big mana potion and the other doesn't, you probably know how that ends. Nice little block here. Invul potion, also not too shabby in this matchup. But these Novas, they hurt.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Novas for both players right now. iNSUP going for the surround. He's got a lot of units lined up. The DK gets a Nova, and maybe Duck's overextended a bit. The iNSUP, of course, locks in that DK surround. That's a dead knight. And he's going to go down, and that's just going to open up even more map control for iNSUP. And we talked about this expansion if it doesn't pay off, Neo, and right now, this is looking really risky because another Fiend's going to go down. Duck's losing everything in the middle of the map.
It is an absolute disaster for Duck. This is like iNSUP versus Xlord reverse, where here now Duck had a pretty good early game and then got a little bit too greedy, and iNSUP is just tearing him apart. If that's the Duck micro you're talking about, man, he left that Fiend behind. Good Nova, though, after eating that one. Denies the experience as well. Did he buy enough time for that Expo to live off of that?
I don't know. Nerubian's almost done. He's going to have 5 acolytes at this expansion. It might go up, but he's so behind. And he's going to have to bring a lot of units to bring back the siege. The DK comes back, but iNSUP's right here. And the good thing about Duck is there's not another Nova for a while for iNSUP unless he Dark Rituals one of his skellies, which he could, of course, do. But right now, it's looking very scary for Duck.
Gotta be careful with that Fiend.
Well, if he could get this Fiend right now, I mean, there's still an economic spike that Duck can hit, Neo.
Oh my god, the Frost Tower is helping Duck out. Really good position, just in range for that. It's a little unfortunate. Coil is ready, both pretty low on mana. Guess there's one more coil for especially iNSUP. Another surround. Okay, that's the micro we were talking about. Level 2 now unlocked. That is Aura, but there's no TP. There's an Invul potion. Can he fight out? Certainly looks like it. Breaks out of that encirclement. And can he retreat? Does he want to commit to this Nova? I don't think so. Man, how many blocks are in this game? It's crazy.
It's actually quite crazy, too, that iNSUP wants to still commit to this because he does have that tier 3 advantage. I would love to see Backpack maybe grab an orb and keep the siege going because right now the army is in iNSUP's favor, and if he's going to push right now would be a good time when we don't see research back upgraded or the Backpack upgraded for the research. So he's going to have to go all the way home to get that orb. He's going to pull this shop right now, and that'll be level 3 Lich, which is very good, but he definitely needs the orb. If you're tier 3, in the words of the great Carson, use it or lose it, Bucko.
What a wonderful quote that is. I mean, that is very right, of course. Would love to see one hero going back and taking care of that orb. Now I think that's what the DK is doing. Kind of short on resources now, but that's the second big consumable, and that is what I was foreshadowing. Greater mana for iNSUP.
a great item. That's a terrific item. He's already got the tier 3. He's got the Dark Ranger. He's got everything. DK grabs that orb, and this is the push that he might be able to do with 2 statues, a couple of fiends. I mean, he's got everything he needs. And Duck's frantically trying to solo creep level 3 DK. That would be like what he needs to have a chance in these fights. But if you have just a level 2 DK against orb, this is going to be a rough one. You have to turtle behind these towers, and you have to just pray that INSUP gives you the time of day to build this army back. But we're not seeing that. INSUP going straight for the jugular right away, Neo.
It is Black Arrow, by the way. No silence, something that's quite interesting. Maybe even a mistake, if you ask me. Silence would be so much better. There's not much ghouls remaining. Nova, long range on that DK, putting some more pressure onto him. Of course, no extra HP from him. We have the first destroyer up. We have the orb up. That's exactly the advantage you need to tear this expansion apart.
Yeah, I'm really surprised with the arrow as well as opposed to silence, because I feel like silence could really net you maybe a fiend kill or 2, maybe even a lich if you get really lucky, if Duck gets really out of position. But we're starting to see the level 2 DK become a problem in this game. The coils just aren't good enough, and the damage on the Nova, that's 2 netted fiends. Steven with the coil, he misplaces the coil and 2 units go down.
Ay. That's a yikes, boys. 40 supply only for Duck. He needs to hold on to this. He has to buy time for the Black Citadel, which is about to finish. But now, of course, this Black Arrow makes a lot of sense if you're hunting down the Acolytes. That's all of a sudden, well, should have been a couple of more skeletons. Not the case here, but now the Dark Ranger is level 2. Now we got Silence as well. Nova hits as hard as it gets. And Duck is just eating his own units, and boom, that's the kill, and that is game 1 for INSUP.
Wow, that was a pretty exciting match, actually, but it just seemed like at the end of the day, INSUP a little bit cleaner with these exchanges. He kind of got the game that he wanted. Typically, Duck wants the more strategical hit-and-run games. That's why we see him go for that expansion, but INSUP wants the one base. We're both going to fight with the same amount of units. I'm going to get the upper hand with those small little nice details that we saw with the surrounds, with the blocks. So INSUP really got the game he wanted at the end of the day, and Duck, if he was able to hold on to that expansion, maybe would have had a shot, but just a little bit too sloppy in the super early game with a couple more unit losses, an extra ghoul loss, losing the TP early on. Just a little bit sloppier, and that's all it takes against a player like INSUP.
I agree, yeah.
Carson, what would you say if that fight at the shop doesn't happen? Could Duck carry... Could Duck carry this into the late game with the expansion?
I think it's a lot easier to hold on, for sure. If he doesn't lose, I think it was 2 fiends. I mean, they were pretty much even, right? I think it was a ghoul apiece and a town portal apiece as well. I think Duck could definitely hold on. Duck could also maybe, if he wasn't forced to be so defensive, could have been the one being aggressive into INSUP space. And of course, if INSUP goes to kill the expansion of Duck and Duck goes into the main base of INSUP, INSUP has to respect that and go back home. So that's a way that Duck could force it into the later game, even if he is a tech behind. But really, with losing those early units, with having no town portal so early, it's tough to play that sort of game. So going into game 2, that's maybe what Duck is going to look for, is a little bit cleaner and have that ability to be more aggressive.
All right, then. We are in game 2, most of us, I guess. We have the map picks and bans here. Duck getting rid of Amazonia and Concealed. Echo Isles and Tide Hunters out for INSUP. And Autumn Leaves is now Duck's pick. So INSUP has won his home turf. Now it's time for Duck to tie this up.
Yeah, what I want to see is Duck going to tilt switch his strategy? Because that Lich Mirror was very, very close. Like Carson said, I mean, if you skip the expansion, go to tier 3, it's a very quick game. I wonder if is he going to tilt switch to Crypt Lord, especially with the Expo with Lich? I wonder. Does he stick with it, or does he tilt switch to Crypt Lord, Carson?
I'd be surprised to not actually see a fast expansion from Duck here. I think he will go for a tier 1 expansion. The real question is he going to do it at that aggressive gold mine with the Ogre Magi, or is he going to do it at the Cobalt expansion? But I think we're probably going to see an expansion attempt, at least from Duck. Yeah, I think Crypt Lord, and then INSUP, he probably just goes Lich. But there's a lot of metagaming that goes into the heroes, so we'll have to just wait and see, I suppose.
Oh man, this is gonna be quite something. Undead mirrors on autumn leaves, not the most common thing that you can see, and if Duck wants to go for an expo, that is clearly doable here as the expansion is so easy to creep, but it's also easily harassable, which would then play into the cards of INSUP if he wants to go Lich first harass once again, because the rush distance, especially from expo to base, is super duper mega short. So we'll see if INSUP can take this 2-0 and make this the third 2-0 in the Americas region, or if we get our first 3 mapper in NA. And we have game 2 loaded up. Everything is set up correctly, so let's go! What went wrong in the practice of all the ducks, Ricky?
That's bad luck. It's a bad day, bad time to be a duck, that's for sure. But you know what? Lots of tournament left here, and this series is not over yet. Undead Mirror does get very dicey. Maybe he could switch it up. And we already seeing a change up already in this match with INSUP opening up Ted Fiend. So he's going to be going DK opener late Fiends against whatever Duck's going to do. And with this build, it looks like both of them opening Ted Fiend. So no expansions here. It's just going to be straight up Undead Mirror on Autumn Leaves. Okay. No tilt, Neo Pog.
The honorable way, as some say, but boom, Crypt Lord, it is against the DK.
Okay. Yeah, fast Crypt Lord with ghouls. Okay. Oh, this is Ted Fiend's Crypt Lord. All right. Interesting. I don't think I've ever seen this before.
You don't sound too sold.
I've seen Philbot Crypt Lord, but I've never seen a fast Crypt Lord into Fiend transition, so this is going to be interesting.
I guess I casted a game, but I kind of forgot who that was. I think I casted with Remo, and Remo had no real high hope on this build and was kind of hating on it. I haven't seen it too successful yet, but if it comes as a surprise, it might always work, but it could also be the case that INSUP just destroys him, as of course on the one side there's healing, on the other side there's not, but on the other side there's a lot of beetles and maybe even an expansion, but we don't see a skull yet.
Yeah, I think what's going to also be a big surprise is Duck AFK'd one of his ghouls at the wood, so there's only 2 on wood right now, Neil, so that's going to hit him pretty hard once he realizes he doesn't have the wood to be doing what he wants to do, but he also needs to creep level 3 very, very quickly. And this is also a much different route for Duck, but he's not going for a fast level 3 Neo. In this case, he's going for a lot of summons and a lot of units because he knows that the early game it's going to be maybe a DK and 1 or 2 Fiends against his Crypt Lord 1 or 2 Fiends, but he's going to rely on these summons.
Yeah, man, I know that feel with the ghoul. Sometimes it happens when 2 ghouls are on the same tree or something, and then one of them just goes to strike. And it doesn't fix itself. Like, he has to command this ghoul, and he has to notice that at some point. The sooner the better, obviously, but this tech of INSUP is so much faster.
It's really unfortunate because you feel like the nerves again, you know, shades of mist from yesterday. Duck must be feeling the pressure. He's a good player. He's good enough to not miss this ghoul, but this ghoul is going to be such a big problem. He's going to notice the ghoul when he notices the Fiend at the graveyard, so good thing for him. And there we go. He puts it away right away. He's going to notice that ghoul is AFK for a bit, and maybe, you know, he does fix it, but how much wood was he not getting, essentially? I
can give you the correct answer. 100 around about.
That's a lot of wood. You know, it's a stiff amount of wood, you might even say.
That's a 5-time back and forth.
Yeah, that's a lot of wax on those trees. And INSUP's coming across, and now he's got level 2. He's got the aura. He's got a good amount of skellies. Did he pick up another rod? He did. He's got a fresh rod ready to go. And right now, Duck doesn't have the summons anymore. He creeped with most of them. He tanked most of the damage on them. And now he might get met up in the middle here, but INSUP actually going to scout. Yeah, you didn't creep your shop. What the heck are you doing, man? Yeah, because the normal creep route is to go for that shop, right?
All right, then. Let's see what he can do with that big mana post that he found. He's committed to an expansion now. Okay, let's see how this goes. INSUP in, causing some trouble. Can he steal that last hit? There's Impale, of course. Goes for it. Well done, actually. Gets the last hit. And that was so important. If that goes to INSUP as well, you might probably call this game, especially knowing Doug.
He might have to use the mana pod right now just for more summons if he wants to be able to hold this. I don't know if they'll Duck with another accolade. He must be trying to still commit to this.
Yeah, I guess he has to now. One Acolyte is down. He saw that. Oh, is he? Yeah, nice last hit shot from downtown and steals that Trapper as well, preventing level 3.
No, he's not going to commit to this at all. He's going to tech, but it's going to be very, very far behind. Duck doing weird plays, Neo, and it's just, if you don't execute them properly, you're just very far behind. And, I mean, he's going to be able to push Insup away for now until that DK hits 3, and then he's going to have a lot of problems. We still haven't seen that Mana Pot yet, but a nice surround from Insup. Locks in another Fiend, and there's no coil on a Crypt Lord. Remo hasn't fixed that yet, Neo.
This game might be over in a minute.
Yeah, this might be a fast Duck GG. This is just doesn't look good for him right now. And Insup with DK Fiends, I mean, you could really just do whatever you want. You can creep across the map. He's got a lot of Skelly charges. He's just kind of chilling where Duck needs level 3 and then he needs to do damage after that. It doesn't really matter too much. He also doesn't have 5 Acolytes on his mind because he pulled one because he's teching.
Oh my
so it's
God.
just everything. Everything's just really botched right now.
Whoa, this game is a complete downfall.
He's going to lose that Fiend. Oh, so close.
Oh my God,
if Insup jacks this, it's
of course
GG.
he is. Oh, it's nighttime. Not sure if he sees it. Oh, Fiend comes in. Yo, this game is over.
This has got to be, this is really rough. A TP in from Duck, but he might take a little bit extra damage on the one Fiend. Another one went down. And again, a botched expansion, a second time attempt, and that's a big commitment. And I don't even know. Okay, the Acolyte he's got to put back on the mine. He does realize that he's going to have 5. This has just been a back and forth bonanza for Insup. If you're playing this, you're like, what is going on? But it's working out in his favor. For Duck, what is it, Neo?
Oh my. Not too bad at the moment. I think like 200 gold or something, which is of course like a Fiend. But it's looking grim for the Duck fans out there, that's for sure. 50% tier 3 tech done, and Duck has yet to arrive on tier 2.
And now Duck's in a weird position because he's across map, no TP, and Insup's just going to dive in the main. There is no coil, but there is Nova for Insup now. And this is going to be a lot of dead Acolytes. There's not much Duck can really do. Trying to build a Spirit Tower now.
He has no TP. He has to walk back. He has no aura. Crypt Lord and Fiends, super slow army. His economy is getting wrecked. There's no question who wins this game.
Yeah, and Insup could just TP out as soon as he gets the damage. He's getting so much damage as well. Another Ghoul going down. That was probably the one that was AFK. So he's just been useless the whole time. But, yeah, this is just great trades from Insup, and this is looking like a 2-0. If Duck comes back from this, he's a god.
That's a turnaround of a century, maybe. But okay. Coil long distance. Insup plays it safe, and I like that. Why force the issue if you don't have to? You know how far ahead you are. You just saw the tier 2 finishing. You counted the Acolytes, and you saw that you disrupted 2 of the expansion attempts while you just arrive on tier 3, are at the perfect spot to grab the orb and then just push again after you grab the dark range as well.
And he does grab the orb, and he'll be able to save up a little bit to get that third hero if he does want it. That will be really hard. I mean, a Dark Ranger at this point, maybe you just go for the arrow because every kill is just going to net you another unit. You just keep storming the castle if you want, especially if that Lich hits level 2. But Duck is just trying to build a slaughterhouse right now, Neo. And, well, Insup's got his second statue.
Okay. And he's creeping the middle. Book of the Dead. This is going to be... This will take minutes until there's Dispel against it. So the Book of the Dead actually worth it. In this case, good experience, of course, as well. Yeah, creep him up, and then, well, we'll see.
You know what I think? I think Duck wanted to go Crypt Lord, but then he muscle memory Ted Fiends, and he just went with it. That's what I think. That's honestly what I think, because I think he's a little nervous. I think he wanted to go Crypt Lord expand on Autumn Leaves, because it's not uncommon, but he Ted Fiend the build, and then he just said, can I make it work? And, you know, we're finding that out right now. But there's no way that this is an actual build that he considered. Because the execution is really hard. And you know Insup's style, Neo. You know Insup's going to be in your face. And he's going to scout everything.
Yep.
And right now he's got full map control.
Yeah, he scouts the upper left once again. He will take care of that right-hand side position. And while Duck was creeping one red spot, which is really good, Insup crept the entire, usually contested middle, got Rune Bracers, so even nuking isn't that easy anymore, plus the before-mentioned Book of the Dead. I like that Duck has this fighting spirit. We've seen this differently from him in the past, so he's still fighting for this. But yeah, it's gonna be real rough. DK is coming up only now.
Yeah, it's good to see that he's still playing it out because, you know, standard Duck would have been outie. But yeah, he's gonna try to play this out. He's got a TP now. He could, if he gets in danger, he could get out of there. The DK. I mean, there's not even much to creep anymore, Neo. There's only greens and reds. And without tier 3, without that Lich, without Orb, it's going to be so hard to creep this. You're going to need tons of summons. And he's really relying on this level 5 Crypt Lord. Like, that's going to be his saving grace. He's just relying on this Crypt Lord to do tons of damage with Impale, I guess, because the Beetles are just going to get soaked up by the Destroyers. But the DK is sitting in the back, and iNSUPE's going for the Siege. And here comes the TP, and this is the last-ditch effort. Duck pulls everything.
Oh my, everything is so hurt. Imagine a Nova now. Imagine an Impale now. Okay, here's the Nova, gets 1 kill immediately. And that level 2 Impale is just getting healed against by that statue. If it's in a better position, there we go. If you kill the shop, there's no more statues coming.
Yeah, there's not much of anything coming. It's Duck putting his Acolytes back on the mine, but you're facing an Orb right now. You're facing Tri-Hero. You have no coil, and even if you did, it's a level 1. The health pot purchased on the DK, but the nuke comes in and GG. Even with that Impale, we're not going to see much more from Duck in this series.